The CBS Sports Classic has gotten a shuffling of teams here. I believe it's UCLA who is out of the event, and in steps St. John's, the Red Storm, and Rick Pitino. This is particularly interesting this year because the matchup for St. John's in their first trip to the CBS Sports Classic is going to be against none other than the Kentucky Wildcats. That means Mark Pope will be taking on his former coach, his mentor, Rick Pitino, who has loudly advocated for Pope to get the Kentucky job, loudly supported him as the Kentucky head coach, loudly fundraised for him while being the sitting St. John's coach. Cart, you can tell me that Rick Pitino hopes that Mark Pope wins this game, and I would believe you at this point. Mark Pope, Rick Pitino, Kentucky St. John's. Are you excited for this game?
I'm very excited for the game. I think it has a lot of juice. Obviously, it seems like Pitino versus a lot of coaches has a lot of juice, just given Pitino's history and everything like that. But um, anytime you get to like face your quote unquote mentor, you get to face the guy that used to coach the team you're coaching for. I think there's a lot of juice to that game. And then on top of that, two really good teams, right? Like Kentucky will be, anywhere between I don't know, probably like I'd say 7 and 15th in the country at worst. I think
Ooh,
St. John's will be top five.
too low. They won't be down to 15.
I'm giving myself a little bumper there.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
just being safe.
It's low.
But two top 25 teams playing.
Two
Two
top
top
10, two top 10 teams playing. What are we doing here? Two top 10 teams.
Kentucky will be top 10.
Yes.
Two top 10 teams playing.
Yeah. Even if we are a little, because I think we are collectively a little more down than the national perception here, but they're not like 15th. They're
See, I didn't think I was down. I feel like the National League people are a little bit more down on Kentucky.
I mean, if you're saying they could be 15th and you want to frame this as two top 25 teams, I don't see how that's not too down on them.
Playing it safe. Let me rock.
You are playing it safe. You're right. You're right. Who's better? So you have St. John's, no question, top five team, and you don't have Kentucky there. St. John's a better
St.
team.
John's is better. St. John's is better.
You sure about that?
Yes.
I feel like I'm doing the Tim Rob. You sure about that?
Who the hell is
You
Tim
sure about
Robinson?
that?
Who's Tim Robinson?
Sure about that?
Yeah, I am sure though. Yes.
You don't know who Tim Robinson is?
I know he's a Lions fan.
Detroiters?
Is that a TV show?
Hey, so I mean, the fact you don't know a Detroit guy is crazy.
I know he's a Lions fan.
Okay, we'll sidebar on this. This is disappointing to me.
Sorry.
I think you should leave.
What?
That's
Like,
his show. But I'm just
oh,
yeah,
okay. What am
just
I
doing
supposed
a
to
bit.
leave? Stop doing this to me. Can we get back to Zuby Ejiofor, please?
Well, I actually want to drill into this. You're positive St. John's is better than Kentucky.
Yeah.
Why?
The team is better.
Yeah, why? Why do you think that? You're
I
giving me
think
like my toddler's answers here. I don't like it.
well, I mean, do you want to play the quick game? Well, let's go position by position.
Yeah, they don't have a point guard. So is it nobody against Jalen Lowe?
If it's Ian Jackson against Jelon, oh, okay, well, give the point guard matchup to Kentucky.
Okay.
They probably lose every other spot.
Nope, I'll give him Otega Owe's spot because he's the best player on either team. This video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. We have a special offer for you. Promo code SLEEPERS. If you're a first-time depositor, they will give you a bonus up to $1,000 that matches 50% of your first deposit, plus a free pick. And tonight's free pick is focused on none other than Steph Curry. Card, I got a question for you. How many points does Steph Curry average?
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and say 29.
I don't have it in front of me, but that sounds about right. Certainly more than zero, I assume.
Of course.
Well, tonight's free pick, Steph Curry to score 1 point, higher than zero point 0.5 points. It's as much of a guarantee as you can possibly get. Underdog Fantasy, deposit as a first-time user, put in promo code SLEEPERS. Make sure you get that deposit match bonus up to $1,000 and the Steph Curry free pick. Back to the video.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay. I feel it's a little disrespectful to some of the players that St. John's has.
St. John's is Otega Owe answer Rick Pitino willfully asked to leave RJ Lewis.
for good reason.
Good reason. Now we're defending that move?
No,
Come
I'm not
on.
defending it. I'm just
Come
saying he had
on.
his reasons.
Sure. And his reasons were I need Ian Jackson at point guard.
So, all right. So if I'm reading this correctly, you're out on St. John's.
No, I like them. I think their roster's great.
Ah, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I think they got big time questions. Big time
So,
questions.
and Kentucky doesn't?
Kentucky has more answers.
How so?
Higher floor team, the Kentucky Wildcats. Lower ceiling probably, but higher floor.
Okay. Is this the higher floor classic or the CBS Sports Classic?
When's it being played? December?
I couldn't
If
tell
it's
you that.
November, give me Kentucky.
It could be played next week. Give me St. John's.
So you love the St. John's team then?
Oh, yes, I do.
What do you have them nationally then? You're saying top five, but like give me the number. Because I haven't
I
heard you list
have
St. John's as
them.
one of your number one teams, and you have eight of those.
Yeah. I have them. Let's see. I have them fourth.
I think you're bullshitting right now. I just caught you.
What?
Who's better, BYU or St. John's?
BYU,
Who's better, Purdue or St. John's?
Purdue.
Who's better, Texas Tech or St. John's?
Currently St. John's.
But you have Texas Tech as the number one team in the country potentially.
If I'm getting Darion back, yes.
Ooh. Ooh, UConn or St. John's?
UConn.
Duke or St. John's?
St. John's.
Houston or St. John's?
God, there's a lot of good teams. Okay, maybe they're not top five.
Yeah, you gave me four, but you just gave me four teams you'd take over St. John's.
That's on me.
It's close. All right. I respect it. I just took you to the courtroom. That's what this was.
Yeah, I'm in hell.
So it's the sixth best team in the country versus the 10th best team in the country.
There you go. I'm glad we got to that point.
More importantly, how are Rick Pitino and Mark Pope going to handle this? Are they going to be all lovey-dovey?
I think it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a love fest both ways.
Who do you think loves the other one more?
You know what? This game's gonna stink, isn't it?
I just realized like they're going to love each other too much. I don't think there's going to be an edge.
It's gonna be two guys. This is that commercial where like the ball went off me, coach. It's literally gonna be Mark Pope and Rick Pitino doing that back and forth.
Okay, wait a second. Conspiracy time. So I feel like sometimes the best heated matchups between coaches are two coaches who like publicly, outwardly love each other, but maybe secretly behind closed doors don't. There's a couple of those that I know have existed through the years. Like I
Can I
don't,
get an example of that?
not on record, but
Uh,
when we end this recording, I can.
okay.
But like a little bit of like lovey-dovey for the cameras. Oh, you're my mentor. I love you so much. And then as soon as the cameras go away, it's like, man, I want to kill him.
I can relate to that.
Do you think that there's one of these two, maybe both, either one, that might feel that way?
You know what? Sneakily, I think it's Pope.
That's what I was going to say.
I think it's Pope.
I think Rick,
I see through the gratitude.
I think Ricky P actually loves Pope to death, but I think there's a world where Pope maybe in his own quarters at evenings only at a certain time. Maybe he's been brought a
Did you
glass of
just say in his
Cabernet
own? You say in his own quarters
in his own quarters, in the Pope quarters. I assume he has like a robe. He has like a Mark Pope robe.
in the study.
Yeah, he has a Mark Pope robe, and he proceeds to his quarters at the end of every evening. And he's got his like Mark Pope slippers on, and I feel like he kicks his feet up. And like the night before this game, he's gonna be thinking to himself, like, you know, Rick likes to make a lot of things about himself sometimes, doesn't he?
Hmm, that's interesting. And I will say this too on Mark Pope's side, something about getting little bro by somebody half your size, even in that setting, hurts you a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm a weaker ego male.
Who's the better coach
Rick Pitino.
in the year of our Lord 2025?
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited for this one, I think.
I'm very excited for this.
Who wins?
St. John's.
Give me Kentucky.